Hey everyone, it's Michael Groff here to talk to you about your roof. With an active monsoon season expected this year, you need a name you can trust, and that's why you should call Blackstone Roofing Group for all of your roofing needs. Call for your free inspection today. Big or small, they do it all. Tile, shingle, or flat roofing, they can help, offering free inspections and more. Roofing made easy. Call 602-536-9363 or visit blackstoneroufinggroup.com to schedule your free inspection today. And if you tell them Michael Groff sent you, they'll take $500 off the price of your roof replacement. Again, that's 602-536-9363 or blackstoneroufinggroup.com. This is the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for Tuesday, the 15th of July. I'm Michael Groff. Monsoon conditions picking up over the next couple of days. Showers and thunderstorms on the increase across eastern and southeast Arizona. And we will see a slightly better chance of getting storms into the lower deserts, including Phoenix. The good news to that is that with increasing moisture, temperatures will be headed down. How low will those get? But of course, what you guys really want to know is where, when, and how much rain there will be, or if there'll be any rain at all. Well, we're going to figure all that out to the best of our abilities as we dive on in and discuss. First, here's the almanac from yesterday. 107 degrees the afternoon high, 90 was that morning low, 107 and 85 are the averages for this time of year. Looking outside right now at 11:25 a.m., some high clouds around, 97 degrees at Sky Harbor, dew point 56, humidity 25%, winds are calm, barometer is steady. Satellite picture out here across the southwest, and the story is somewhat similar to what we've seen in recent days, but the pattern is beginning to change. High pressure that's been stuck off to the west of us is beginning to shift more toward the east. We have this upper low, this elongated trough that's sitting to the south of us and closing off into an upper low, and that's going to be the impetus for an increase in showers and storms over the next couple of days. But the devil's in the details to all of this. Yes, the broader upper flow is now turning more out of the northeast and east and eventually more southeasterly, and that will help to direct showers and storms that develop over the higher terrain toward the lower deserts. But what about those lower desert storms? Yeah, how widespread will those get? Of course, we're going to get into that in just a moment. Here's the watch warning map. Still have flood watches and flood warnings for the hill country of Texas. No surprise there. It seems like each day they're still picking up anywhere from a quarter inch to an inch of rain. And while that may not sound like a lot on its face, on top of the very saturated ground that they have there, it doesn't take much to exacerbate an already dreadful situation over central and south central Texas. Elsewhere, we've got some heat advisories for parts of the southeast U.S. Of course, it's hot everywhere in the southeast, but that's National Weather Service criteria. When the heat index exceeds 105 degrees, you get those heat advisories. Elsewhere, still some air quality alerts you're dealing with over the northern tier states. Those are beginning to be allowed to expire, though, as the Canadian wildfire smoke not quite as bad up there. Out here in the west, still have the red flag warnings with dry conditions and warm temperatures and all of that. Of course, we still have the potential of wildfires. In Arizona, how about this? We've got a flood watch over the southern and southeastern portion of the state, including parts of Santa Cruz, well, actually all of Santa Cruz County, eastern Pima County, to include the Tucson area, as well as down toward Douglas and Bisbee and Sierra Vista, all included in that flood watch. So, of course, a flood watch means that conditions are favorable for flooding or flash flooding in and close to the watch area. And they do anticipate some heavy rain over the next 24 to 48 hours down there. All right, here's the convective outlook for today. The enhanced risk of severe storms, level 3 out of 5 for parts of Nebraska. The broader severe weather risk really extends from out here in the west, from Salt Lake City eastward towards Cheyenne, Wyoming, all the way up toward Minneapolis, St. Paul. And, of course, we here in Arizona have a risk for severe storms, that low-end marginal risk, level 1 out of 5 for the southeastern portion of the state. Again, Nogales, Douglas, Sierra Vista, Bisbee, Tucson, up toward Casa Grande, and Safford. Those areas in darker green on that map, pretty close to the Phoenix area, not quite up here though. And of course, when you're in that dark green, that marginal risk means that a few storms could be capable of producing some brief, strong, damaging straight line winds in excess of 58 miles per hour. Now, does that mean we couldn't see that here in Phoenix? No, it doesn't mean that. It's just that the likelihood is pretty small here. And we're going to talk about that more in modeling here in just a second. Here's the precipitation outlook. Now, this is valid through next Tuesday morning from the WPC, and you can see the bad news is rain amounts here in Phoenix. These numbers have come down from recent outlooks, now generally at or under 1/10 of an inch. And even across much of central and northern Arizona, these numbers have come down. Now, where they're still elevated is across the southern border in the southeastern portion of the state. Down there, they could see in excess of 2 inches of rain. But whenever we show this graphic, what do I always tell you? Your amount will vary. Any storm can always produce more than what's shown here. This represents what you'll see on an average basis. So, what's going on with this weather pattern in more detail? Well, we'll figure it out right now as we get to the models. See what the future may hold. Here we go. The GFS 06Z run valid 2 o'clock this afternoon. A few things of note here. We've got an upper low that's tracking across Florida toward the northeastern Gulf. And that's an interesting feature because it may develop into a tropical depression over the next couple of days. Probably not going to get much stronger than that. Certainly we hope not, but it will bring plenty of rain down that way. Now out here, we've got an area of high pressure that's beginning to scoot toward the east and an upper low that's off to our south and southwest. And those features are combining to bring increasing easterly flow across Arizona, so some moisture is certainly on the increase. And storms that develop over the higher terrain would generally be pushed toward the lower deserts in that kind of a setup. So what it means down at the surface for the rest of the afternoon, we'll call it partly cloudy, high temperatures topping out around 103 to 107. That's pretty much in line with where we ought to be for this time of year. Scattered showers and thunderstorms develop across southeast Arizona, the east central mountains, widely scattered storms on the rim country, and those storms will be pushed toward these south central deserts later today and tonight. Now, the problem in our part of the state, just as it's been the last couple of days, is we've got that cap on the atmosphere, right? That capping inversion, the warmer air aloft. So that just doesn't allow for storms to really fire up, or storms that come in from east of us. They pretty much run into a wall when they hit the south central deserts. What would help to break that cap is if we could get some strong outflow boundaries, or even better than that, colliding outflow boundaries from distant thunderstorms, and we could see that today. So let me show you. This is off of one of our CAMs, our convective allowing models. This is the HRRR, the high resolution rapid refresh model. This is at 5 o'clock this afternoon, the simulated radar product. And yes, the radar doesn't look exactly like this at that time, but kind of represents what it may look like. And you can see batches of showers and storms over southeast Arizona, the east central mountains, and some widely scattered storms up along the rim. Those storms over southeast Arizona will be moving west-northwest. These storms elsewhere will be moving west or west-southwest. And so that scenario does portend some gusty outflow boundaries that could collide, especially with the subcloud layer still being somewhat dry in southeast Arizona. Those winds could get pretty strong with the strongest storms in excess of 60 miles an hour. So we could see some good outflow boundaries. And that will do a couple of things. It could help to really break that convective inhibition that we have in our part of the state, allowing storms to either fire up or allow these storms to move into our part of the state here. Or it may even trigger a few new storms along the leading edge of those outflow boundaries. Either way, at 5 o'clock this afternoon, we'll still probably be in the clear here in the greater Phoenix area and the surrounding area, but some gusty winds will be approaching us from the east or the southeast potentially. Let's keep going here. This is at 9 o'clock tonight. You can see showers and storms really trying to get in here from the east and southeast at that time. The question is, will they actually make it in here? You know, models have started to get a little bit more bullish, these convective allowing models. Before, they were really showing them just dying out before they got here. And now, at least, they're kind of knocking on the door and maybe getting into the east and the southeast valley. And so as a result, we're going to call for at least a slight chance of showers and storms later this afternoon and especially this evening and overnight tonight with these storms around. Now, the primary threat from storms will be gusty winds and blowing dust, but we could see some rain, particularly in the East Valley. Now, that doesn't mean that if you're in the West Valley, you get nothing, but more than likely, the better chances of rain in that kind of 20 to 30% bracket are going to be found the further east you go here in the greater Phoenix area and the Salt River Valley, right? So that's the more likely outcome for this evening. We'd love to see just a more widespread thunderstorm event here. Just doesn't look like we're going to get that from tonight's storms, but we will see. This is starting to look more interesting, that's for sure. All right, otherwise, tonight will be partly cloudy with lows mainly in the upper 70s to upper 80s, and then tomorrow, boy, we were really looking at this as being kind of a key day for showers and storms and our best chance of rain here in south central Arizona. And still, it does look like it will be, but there are some limiting factors, unfortunately. All right, so as this deeper monsoon moisture comes in, we'll definitely have the moisture around, but I'm wondering how widespread storms will be tonight and how much that will contaminate the atmosphere for tomorrow and how many clouds we'll have around overnight and into tomorrow. Those debris clouds, how long they're going to linger. And if they do, we're going to lose some of that thermodynamic support. The sun, that's going to be a big element in helping to trigger showers and storms. Yes, we do have this upper low off to the south and west of us, but it sure doesn't look like it's going to be quite as strong as we thought, not quite as close to us as we thought. So yes, that will help in the development of storms, but it's going to be less of a factor than initially thought. Still some forest descent, still some diffluent flow aloft, just not as much. So we'll still call for scattered showers and thunderstorms around tomorrow, but they will be scattered in nature. I don't think we're going to see quite as widespread a precipitation event. And in terms of strong storms, again, with a little bit less thermodynamic support, it just doesn't look like we're going to see much in terms of strong storms tomorrow. It might just be showers and some low-topped convection around. So high temperatures tomorrow, though, will be cooler with the increased humidity and more clouds around, partly sunny sky, highs upper 90s to about 103. Well, let's show you. This is, again, the HRRR. This is tomorrow. This is at 11 p.m. tomorrow evening, and it shows most of the precipitation scattered to numerous showers and some storms over the higher terrain of northern and eastern Arizona, with some widely scattered storms possible here in the south central deserts, including Phoenix. But that's just going to be it. It's going to be pretty hit and miss. Now, where those storms are found, you might get some brief heavy downpours. Don't get me wrong, but again, widespread precipitation just doesn't look likely. So best, we're going to have about a 30 to 40% chance of storms. I know we had this up into the almost 50 and 60% bracket the other day, but just probably doesn't look like it's meant to be. I sure hope we're wrong about this. I hope tomorrow turns out to be much different, but that's how it looks at this point. Now, we do have the moisture. Okay, that's still in the air. I mean, look at this. Precipitable water values 1.5 to 1.7 inches plus over southern Arizona. So the moisture in the atmospheric column, it's there. I mean, we got plenty of that. It's just the instability is missing. Let me show you. This is a forecast sounding coming from the HRRR tomorrow evening at 11 o'clock. And again, when we show this, I notice some of you, this just looks like a whole bunch of Klingon. It's gobbledygook. It's nonsense. But what we look at here, there's a lot of different factors that we're looking at. One of them is CAPE, that convective available potential energy. That's the ability for air parcels to freely rise. And on this, well, surface-based CAPE is basically zero. Most unstable CAPE found through the atmospheric column is about 300 joules per kilogram. That's not much. Now, it doesn't take a lot, but that's just not much. There, again, could be a couple of rumbles of thunder around, but in terms of widespread thunderstorm activity, we just don't see that. Maybe some low-top showers and maybe a stray storm, but that's going to be about it. Mixing ratios are not great. They're under 10 grams per kilogram. We got precipitable water values, again, 1.6, 1.7 inches. That's good. That's certainly above our baseline monsoon levels, but everything else here, just not very Not very telling, not very indicative of any major severe weather or even any significant thunderstorm activity tomorrow evening. All right, let's keep going. This is Thursday, and it should be kind of just a soupy, mostly cloudy sort of day. High temperatures, upper 90s to about 102. And yes, there will be some scattered showers and storms around, but again, the atmosphere kind of contaminated by a lot of clouds. It's going to be hard to get the thermodynamic support, and we're really going to need that. Now, there is considerable forecast uncertainty here. Even though this is only a couple of days away, the models are still trying to figure out how to resolve this upper low to the south and west of us. And, the GFS is trying to really dry us out pretty quick. It's trying to eject this feature off to the north rather quickly. But still, it does show scattered showers and some storms around on Thursday. But then by Friday, it's got us dried out. The European is slower with that drying trend. So if this is correct, we still have chances of storms around on Thursday. And don't get me wrong, any storm could produce heavy rain, but they'll be very scattered in nature. Friday, partly cloudy, just some isolated showers and thunderstorms around, unfortunately. Looks like that drier air is going to start to work its way in here. And as that happens, temperatures are going to recover back to around 101 to 105. This weekend looks fairly quiet, just some isolated showers and thunderstorms around each afternoon and evening. Maybe a stray storm gets in the valley. High temperatures getting up to about 103 to 108, maybe tack on a degree on Sunday. I don't think we'll see any storms in the valley on Sunday. Probably not on Monday either, as again, we'll see drier air in here, more of a southwesterly flow. That ridge that we were hoping was just going to stick around the Four Corners region or over the Rockies, nope, it's going to slide a little bit further to the south, either over the southern plains, northern Mexico, or maybe points eastward over the western Gulf. And so that's going to keep the flow aloft more southwesterly, and that's going to keep us dry. Now, that doesn't look like it's going to last too long, because as we go to a week from today, Tuesday the 22nd, the ridge is now beginning to move back toward the north a little bit. It's sitting out there east of us someplace. The flow aloft is still not overly favorable for bringing storms in here, but the monsoon moisture isn't very far away. And as we go to Wednesday the 23rd, now the ridge is somewhere over New Mexico or getting closer to the Four Corners. And as that happens, again, more of an east-southeasterly flow begins to develop here. And so we might even see some more easterly waves coming around this ridge. So it could start to turn more active again as we get toward the middle part of next week. And temperatures are going to be warming up, although they won't be absurdly hot. I'd still say highs are probably around 105 to 110. Going out to the end of the forecast period, this is next Thursday, the 24th. And now the GFS actually shows the ridge to the north of us, across Utah, Colorado, maybe Nevada, somewhere up in that range, kind of an elongated ridge up there. And that would be okay because that's an easterly flow here. And so showers and storms that develop over the higher terrain would be pushed toward the lower deserts. That would be a great monsoon setup. We want that. That ridge needs to stay somewhere to the north or northeast of us. That's an ideal position for it. But that's one view on it. Let's take a look at the European at the same time. This is next Thursday, the 24th. Well, it's got the ridge much further east of us. It's sitting over the central part of the country, somewhere across Kansas and Missouri. We're on the periphery of it. But still, the European actually shows kind of an inverted trough or a little wave coming around the periphery of that into the southwest. So we would have at least a chance at showers and storms. But you talk about a tight moisture gradient. It shows the westerlies buckling substantially to the south underneath a very anomalous ridge that's up there over the Northeast Pacific, the Gulf of Alaska up into Alaska. So very dry air would be sitting just to the west of us. We'd have kind of that classic setup of kind of a battleground between the very dry air to the west and rather moist air off to the east, and we'd be kind of right in the middle of it. Sometimes those setups do yield some interesting results in terms of some strong storms, but I guess we'll have to see. And then let me show you, this is the European AI, same time, next Thursday, the 24th. Well, the AI has not been very fun to look at these several runs in a row because it's got the westerlies as well kind of buckled. Right along the California coast, kind of a little trough there. And a deep layered west-southwesterly flow would be in place over Arizona. And that is no good for bringing monsoon moisture in here. That would have it pushed well off to the east and northeast of us. The one kind of positive aspect of that is that temperatures would be closer to, if not even a little bit below average in that scenario. We'd have dry air, warm, seasonably warm to hot days and mild nights. Lows would be in the mid 70s to low 80s, maybe mid 80s if that's right, but no chance of precipitation. So again, very quite varied solutions off of our various model output here. All right, looking at rainfall for Phoenix off the GFS ensemble. This goes out through the 29th of the month. And the ensemble mean here, close to a half an inch. European, about a quarter, just under a quarter of an inch, although the control member is up there well over a half an inch. So again, big difference between the model output here, although most of these members do at least indicate some minor amounts of precipitation over the next couple of days. We'll take whatever we can get. Temperatures off the national blend of models below average, especially tomorrow, Thursday, and then warming up, though, as we get into the weekend and next week. But what you'll notice here is at least not absolutely off the charts extreme heat. No 117s, 118s, 120 degree temperatures. That's the good news. So far, anyway. All right, that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video back here tomorrow morning. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you really enjoy what we do here, you want to support the channel, click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube, make a monetary contribution to us, or even better than that, is if you donate via PayPal, groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It's groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. Our Venmo is also linked up down in the description, so take advantage of that. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my OAO, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation, and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona, talking about my Michelle. Check her out, blogs, videos, everything Michelle related, likely Adriana related, all linked up down in the description, so give that a look and a listen. Our streaming station available 24/7, 365 called KMGX. We play a ton of music, have a lot of fun with that too, so give that a listen. Get all that stuff linked up in the description, plus friend of the channel, friend of ours, Dan over at the Courtroom Files, give his channel a look as well. Again, everything I mentioned is linked up down below. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support, so greatly appreciated. Please be safe, stay cool, stay hydrated out there, and have yourselves a beautiful rest of your Tuesday.